If you have a website that has a light and dark theme like I have set up here, and it switches back and forth, that's completely fine. But what if you wanted to step things up a little bit and add a transition to make it go something like that looks a little bit nicer? Actually really easy to do, and if you can do that, you can actually step things up and do some kind of crazy things really easily. Like maybe you're a really big fan of PowerPoint or something and you like those like pinwheel transitions. You could do something like this if you wanted to, which probably wouldn't suggest, but hey, if that's your cup of tea, or if you like just being a bit more aggressive with things and you want to like surprise your users, you could drop the next theme in on top of the old theme. Or if that's not enough for you, after I shared this on Blue Sky, a few other people came in with some other examples. We can do like a liquid blend from one to the other, which is pretty neat as it goes down melts down the page. You can go really over the top with something where the document gets thrown away. Or Ragnar, somebody in my Discord community, forked my pen and created this, which is pretty awesome. And so the basics for all of these are actually really, really simple. And so if you want to know how to do this type of thing, well, you're in the right place. And we won't cover extreme examples like this one, but we're going to dive right in and see how we can start with no transition at all and come up with at least a few of these fun ones that we looked at so far. And we're going to start right now with this setup where I have my color picker and I'm switching the theme. And the way I'm switching the theme here really doesn't matter too much, other than it's happening or I am doing a little bit of JavaScript to make it happen. So like this part of this doesn't really matter. How you're setting your theme, it could be a class change on the body or the HTML or whatever it is. Whatever you're doing to change themes, that's completely fine. The important thing is we have this. I have like this update theme function that's updating things, and it doesn't even need to be its own function. It just makes life a little bit easier if it is. So yeah, that would be the main thing, is just somehow the theme is getting updated that way. You can still be using CSS just really fast. Like I am setting a preferred color scheme and stuff. But when I switch here, I'm getting the theme and setting a custom property through JavaScript to then update the theme afterwards. And the reason that's important is because we're going to be using view transitions for this. And to use a view transition, it's really easy. This is like the easiest thing in the world, is you just take the theme that you have, or the theme function, however you're updating your theme, keep that there, but wrap it inside of the view transition function. And so we're doing a document start view transition. And then when we start the view transition, I am updating my theme and I'm missing a closing parentheses right there. So that's all we need to do. And in doing that, guess what? It works. And we get a nice little transition between our themes now. So just by wrapping it in there, we get that transition to go back and forth between them. Already looks kind of nice, and you could just leave it like this if you wanted to. The one problem right now is if a user is on an older browser, and view transitions are pretty well supported at this point, but it's not perfect support because it is kind of new. You do want to make sure that you just didn't completely break your theme selector on older browsers. So this is why having your theme as its own function makes life a little bit easier, because what we're going to do is check if the view transitions exist or not. So if the browser doesn't support view transitions, we're just going to update the theme the regular way and then end things, which just means that if it's not supported, users are just going to get like the immediate switch instead, right? So not the end of the world, just not quite as fancy. And then if the browser does support it, and again, the link to the table is in the description, but it's quite good. It's like over 85%, I think, at this point. We can transition and it gives us that. But we want to maybe make it a little bit nicer. So let's start with how we can do that. And actually, to understand how this is going to work, let's just open this really fast. I'm not doing a deep dive into view transitions. I just want to show you that if we look in my HTML element, we need the one in the iframe because I am in a code pen. So here's my HTML element. And look right around here. I'm going to switch the theme to the dark theme. And you can see that really fast, you get a little pseudo element that shoots in there, and it's a view transition pseudo element is getting added in there while we're doing the switch. So let's start by coming here and doing view transition group. And I'll talk more about this in a second. It is a function, so we have to do it like this, and I'm gonna put root. And we're gonna say that the animation duration for now is 2 seconds. And that just means our entire view transition will take 2 seconds to complete now. I wouldn't suggest long view transitions like this because you can't interact with the page while the view transition is happening. But now that I've done that, if we go and take a look at my HTML element again, which is right here, if we do that, you can see now the view transition stays there longer. So it just makes it, and you can pause the animation probably, but if you go and look in that, there's a few different pieces there. I'll put a link to some extra information on view transitions, because again, I don't want to deep dive them, but because I can do an animation duration, it means I can do all sorts of interesting things here. So we have the view transition group of root, which is just, right now we're not changing individual pieces, we're changing the entire thing. And I'll show you a neat thing we can do actually to pull one of the elements out. But this means not only do we have animation duration, we can do anything we want for animations. So the very first thing I thought about in doing this, which was over the top, but we can come in with a keyframes of, let's call it move in. And we're just going to say from a translate of 100% 0, and we're going to go to translate 0, 0. But when I do that, my other thinking was I want to push the other one out. So we're going to do a move out for here, which will be the opposite. We're starting at a 0, 0, and we're going to move to a 100% here. And now what we can do is on this view transition, we don't want to take the whole group because we want the two pieces of it. We have the old part of it and the new part of it. So what's leaving and what's coming in, we can separate those out. So instead of the view trend, actually, I'm going to leave this at 2 seconds and we'll play with the timing of it a bit. But we're going to come in here with a view transition of our old, and we also have the view transition of our new. And by breaking those up, but this is the two pieces that this view transition group is. So the group selects both the old and the new. And I don't want to change my animation duration. I want to put an animation now. So my animation, actually I'm using the shorthand here. So we're just going to remove this old part completely because the shorthand will replace what we had there anyway. So on the animation that we have here, now we want this one to do the move out, and we'll say it's like 500 milliseconds or something like that. And then we can say this one, the animation, is our move in. And in doing that, when we switch themes, they slide around. And actually, I just realized I made a mistake. It worked. You can see they sort of like shuffle. This one, I think, they move out. I want to make it negative 100, so it's like sliding away. And now if I go to light, there we go. It like one theme's pushing the other one. The problem with this is we're staying on the same page and it actually looks like I've moved off to somewhere else, which I didn't quite like. And so that made me wonder, do I need this move out? Maybe we could actually get rid of the move out. And here where we're doing the move out, instead of that, we can do an animation delay of 500 milliseconds. And this could probably be a custom property just so you can update it once. But now if I switch to my light, that's kind of cool, right? Because the old one is coming in across the top of the other one. And I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. And then, of course, you can play with this in different ways, right? So maybe instead of coming from there, we're going to do a 0, negative 100. So we're going to move it up. And then that's where we got to this idea of it dropping down. And then I was like, wait a second. If we can do that, and I'm just translating in, we can head on over to Easing Wizard. And at Easing Wizard, there's these fun bounces. And so I can just come here, copy this, and then in my code pen, what we could do is, this is my animation delay. This is the new one, my animation. I can have an animation timing function of this crazy linear thing that we have here. And now, if we go to my light, that's way too aggressive. Let's make this like, now we need it to be a bit longer. I'm going to do 2000 milliseconds for them. And now when I go, that's probably too long now, but you get the idea. It like comes in, bounces in. This is way over the top. You probably don't want to do this, but I was just experimenting and having some fun with it. And it showed that it can actually work, which is interesting. In some situations, maybe something over the top like this could be fun. I wouldn't really suggest it for most situations, but throwing it out there. You might also want to actually wrap this in an @supports for, not supports, @media, I should say, for prefers reduced motion, no preference as well. And then we could wrap all of that in there. If you're doing an over-the-top transition where there's a lot of movement happening, I think you wouldn't want to overdo it for people that have opted for reduced motion. So it depends on the transition you're doing. I think, because some simple transitions, like the crossfade especially, is completely fine, and subtler ones I think would be okay to keep. When you start getting lots of motion going on, then maybe you'd want to think about that. So I'm just going to throw that out there. But yeah, the move in was kind of fun, but I think it was a little bit over the top. But then just to show you, because I think the one most people are going to want is the circle that comes out. And that one's actually really easy too. I'm going to keep the same name for now. Oh, no, what? I'll comment this out. I'll leave it there. We don't need to worry about it. Just so all this code will be in the finished code that will be shared in the link down below. We'll do keyframes of circle in. You can never spell circle. Circle in. And that would just be a from of a clip path circle. And now I have to remember the syntax for the circle. And so we're going to want a 0 because the circle is going to start there. And we're just going to say at 50%, 50%, which means our circle, is it 0? I think it's percentage. I think different units should work there. We're going to find out. And then our 2 is going to be a clip path where we just want to grow our circle. It's going to have to actually be bigger than 100%. Actually, if we're starting from the middle, maybe not. But let's try this because this is going to start from the middle. Where we need to change the name too. Move in will be our circle in. Hopefully I spelled that correctly. Or if I made a typo, as long as it's the same typo in both of them. There we go. And we probably want to turn off this timing function. In this case, I saw it bounce a little bit at the end. So now when we go from 1, it slides out. That's actually pretty cool. I like that. I do think though that it looks a little bit better if it's from the top. So to be able to do that, we just change these. So the first one is our x-axis and the second one is the y-axis. So I can move it to the top just by putting a 0 here. And then when I jump over to my light theme now, it grows out from the top. The problem from growing from the top, you might have noticed the bottom ends, the bottom of the circle is here. So you just want this to be a little bit bigger than the full size of your page. Because yeah, just the way it works. So now, when I switch over, you can see it fills up the entire thing. So you could play with what the smallest you can get away with here is. You might want to be careful and test it at different viewport sizes as well, just to make sure that it's always taking up the full size. But that's kind of neat. I think the 2000 is probably a bit slow at this point. The one bad thing with this again is if somebody switches this, if I switch to light and then I'm trying to click, I can't do anything on the page until it's done. So this being pretty snappy, I would say is probably pretty important. And the big chunky falling thing, nobody's interacting with it there anyway. But yeah, a snappy one like this is probably better anyway, but you can play around and do different things with it and have some fun with this because there's so many awesome different things from just a simple transition like this one where you move a circle around or different clip paths. I was just using a clip path with a polygon to do that pinwheel that I showed you earlier, and there's other examples that all will be linked down below that you can have some fun with and explore how they were done. And with that, I want to say a thank you to my enabler of awesome, Andrew, as well as all my other patrons and channel members for their monthly support. And of course, until next time, don't forget to make your corner of the internet just a little bit more awesome.